Hello everybody, welcome to another True Review. Today I'm bringing you Coffin Dodgers on the Xbox One. It's out today and it's priced at £9.59 on the Xbox One, $11.99 in the US and $11.99 in European areas as well. What we have is a Mario Kart style kart racer with a bit of a story behind it. You play as one of 7 pensioners who are visited by death in their retirement village, I believe it is, and none of them want to be taken by the Grim Reaper for obvious reasons. They think they're too young to die, so they challenge the Grim Reaper to a series of races on their mobility scooters, and the Grim Reaper agrees to it. It reminds me a bit of Bill and Ted's, the second Bill and Ted movie, The Bogus Journey, when they challenge death to various games and such. That kind of similar idea. And what you have here is you have your typical kind of kart racer. There's power-ups to pick up, which are pretty decent. There's a nice small collection of power-ups and weapons that you use. There's just the right amount, to be honest with you, because I've seen games in the past like this where they just flood the game with loads and loads of power-ups, and most of them are redundant or very similar to one another, but this just has a nice little neat collection of power-ups which all are useful in their own regards. You've got your traditional heat-seeking rocket, you have an Uzi which you have to kind of like draft at the back of the pensioners and concentrate your fire on them for quite a bit. You have a traditional oil spill, there's a turbo boost, and there's a shield as well. There's also an EMP, which is an area of effect and slows down everybody around you. And that's pretty much it in regards to power-ups. The only criticism I will give about the power-ups is I would have liked them to have been more OAP themed. Maybe instead of a rocket, maybe you fired a slipper or something. You know, just something to that effect, just to go with the overall theme of the game. But it's a minor niggle. The weapons are effective, they all work, and they all do have a use at one point or another. In terms of tracks, you have 12 tracks split over 4 different main areas. You have the retirement village, you have the town, you have the farm, the graveyard, and then there's a final level which is the one-on-one showdown with the Grim Reaper, where you have to finish first. And that level kind of combines all the levels together. There's a section from each of the 4 main areas which are joined together into one huge 2-lap track, which is a really exciting track, to be honest with you, because it takes in some of the best elements of the 4 previous areas. You've got 7 pensioners to choose from, all of them have an amusing backstory. There's nothing really to differentiate between them other than the backstory. They all have a similar melee attack which you can use to hit the opponents with, and they all have access to the same kind of carts. In fact, once you've completed the game, you do unlock the 8th character, which is the Grim Reaper himself. Whenever you do start a new game as well, you do carry over all your upgrades from your cart, which is good, so you don't start from scratch. There's the traditional game mode you would expect from a kart racer. There's quick races, there's time attacks, and there's also a few additional modes as well. There's an open world mode which you can just simply drive around the town and the areas fully opened up, and you can just explore to your heart's content really. And there's also a crazy granddad mode, which is kind of like a find the item time attack mode, where you have an arrow pointing in the direction of an item you have to find. When you pick it up, you get a bit of time extension, and you just got to try and score as many points as you can. Just a nice little diversion, nice little mini game that they've added into things there. In terms of graphics, it's bright, it's vibrant for the most part. The only level that isn't like that is the graveyard, for obvious reasons, but the graphics are reasonable. They're not fantastic, they're not Xbox One standard or this generation standard, to be honest with you, but they're very competent, and they do depict the areas of the game that you're going through. You can tell you're in a village, you can tell you're in a farm, you can tell you're in a graveyard, so for that purpose they do the job pretty well. Music's on a similar level as well. Nothing really outstanding in terms of the musical tracks, but again, it does a competent job of giving you that kind of fast-paced race environment, that fast-paced kind of music that you want when you're on a race. Now, the only criticism I would have when I first, anybody who's watched my first view, is I did mention the controls are very, very twitchy, and I still stand by that, but they do get better once you've managed to get a few upgrades under your belt, and once you've spent a bit more time other than for the first 20 minutes, which I spent with it. You do actually get used to it, and the grip upgrades, which give you more traction and more control over your cart, they actually do help and improve things an awful lot. On the negative side of that, once you do have a few power-ups under your belt, such as an engine boost which increases speed and an acceleration boost, the game does become very, very easy, and the opponents, once you've pretty much got in front, they pretty much can't touch you. And unusual for a game of this type, there's no rubber banding as such. Usually with a kart game you get extreme rubber banding, which I personally hate, to be honest with you, but this you don't. You literally get in front and you can lap them if you so wish. If you're good enough, you can catch up with them, you can lap them. They won't be right behind you, there won't be a set distance behind you, and the same is if you fall behind as well. They won't wait for you, they won't let you catch up. If you fall behind, you are going to be behind. But I like it, to be honest. I prefer it like that, because I just hate rubber banding in any game, so I applaud them for that. But on the kind of flip side of that, it does make the game a little bit easy once you have got a few upgrades, but it's fairer. Achievement wise, you're looking at a very easy list. You've got to get the first place on each and every track. One little tricky bit of that is you've got to do each area in one sitting, in one go. If you restart story modes, your medals reset, and you can't actually replay a race after you've moved on to the next one. You can restart it to your heart's content, but if you move on to the next one, you can't go back. The only way you can go back is by restarting the story mode again. But like I say, your kart upgrades do carry over, so it's not too much of a problem. But achievement wise, it's very, very easy list. There's ones for hitting a few NPCs who roam around the town. There's ones for getting usually about 20 hits with each of the weapon types, and just generally playing the game. Really, it's a very, very easy list and a very, very easy 1000 points. So I'm going to give Coffin Dodgers a solid 3 out of 5. Really good, really enjoyable title. A little bit on the easy side. Could do with a few more tracks, in my opinion, but there is 12 individual tracks and one amalgamated track, so there is a few decent ones there. And for those of you who like time attacks and like to shave, seconds off your lap times, that's catered for as well. But it's a very competent racer, decent enough entertaining piece of software, and I would definitely recommend it. So a 3 out of 5 for Coffin Dodgers. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next review.